on my deck. Previous to that, I was a little bit on the introduction. So again, thank you all for giving me an opportunity to be amongst you through the eConnect. And this is what God has blessed us actually now in the Corona days, to be interactive through these communications called e-communication. So my topic is it is a blend of science and spirituality. I believe in that purity weaves destiny. Okay, this is the practical approach for improved productivity and consistency. So I belong to a as sir has introduced. This is my fifth, sixth company in 23 years. So most of the time I spent in Ranbaxy Sun Pharma, which earlier it was Ranbaxy, then it became Ranbaxy Daiichi, then it became Sun Pharma. So out of 23 years, I spent about 18 years in that organization. It is a mother organization for me, and I learned whatever I learned today. It is because of that organization. So mm, right now I am working in Vyom. So a little bit introduction about Vyom. Vyom is a company, is an innovative specialty pharmaceutical company which deals with development and commercialization of the topical dosage forms. So it's a company who works on the innovative products, not the generic science. Is a innovative. So we have actually recently introduced one molecule for acne, for the treatment of acne, into the phase 3. So it's the only pharmaceutical company in India which works on kind of 505(b)(2), B1 programs, where we created the new drug applications for the global market. So what does this topic mean? Now coming back to purity weaves destiny. So you know, being a pharmaceutical scientist, I would say I wanted to work with the API which has a purity. Okay, for example, let's if you are a formulator, if you want to make a product, first of all we need to have a API which is pure in nature, right? API, I mean, is active pharmaceutical ingredient which is responsible for the pharmacological action. So unless and until that purity is not there, the efficacy will not be there. Okay, and the moment you put purity in it, the pharmacological action will be there and the patient will be benefited. So whatever we do, it is very important. Either it is a human character, or it is a material character, or it is whatever we do in life, it is very important to have this concept that we say destiny. But I believe we can weave our destiny as a variable function. If we say the purity, the pure we are, we go towards the designing side of it. Impure we are, we have to accept what has been written for us anyway. So we will not go into much of the philosophy here. See, the reality in life is now, you know, the situations across us, in front of us, are very very complex. I mean, a year back I was in US. Then I attended a lecture on artificial intelligence. Now the artificial intelligence is, people say, what was told there is very interesting. It says uh, we need to have so much flexibility in our approach to survive in future. Now what does this mean? This means the student will remain ever a student in the life. He should have the enormous capacity to transition from a doctor to engineer, or an engineer to doctor. So such a flexibility will be needed in future for the survival. That is what this artificial intelligence is bombarding us. Uh, it's all superhuman beings will be in picture in future. And this conventional leadership style, like we have kind of a organization, there is a head of the organization, there is a head of the department. So all these things, you know, are looking to be volatile in future because of overpowered superhuman beings, which we call as computers, or the artificial intelligence. You know what a artificial intelligence can do. Like you suppose there are, say, 100 people in a store who are working, and if those are all replaced by the programmed humans, right? So all these things, what will it lead to? It will lead to the job losses. Okay, what will it lead to then? I mean, then we need to have that capacity to transition to a role where I am required. Right now I have a choice. I do pharmacy, I can go to industry, I can go to academia, I can go to pharmacy, but this choice is going to get exhausted very fast because of the more demand, less demand, more supply. So our expectations are going so high, to meet those, even the demand, there is a lot of supply. I mean, I can give you, and whosoever are my batchmates here in this forum will know that, 20 years back there were M-Farm students. People were scouting for that, and there were so many campus interviews. And by the time student finishes his M-Farm, he has ample of choices in front of him what to do. But now look at, I mean, after doing the M-Farm, people are spending three years for just training on 20,000 rupees. So because why it is happening? Because now industry has a choice. They want PhDs. 20 years back, even they were not getting the M forms. Now they want PhDs. The problem is that there are so many institutes, so much supply, but less of a demand. So here a balance is required. We'll come to that how to create it, but I just want to spell it over. Uh, you know, this third point is very important because of artificial intelligence, because of all computer aided drug designing and all this digitalization. The invention of new product is also very very fast. If you go back 20 years back, when the statins came after 20 uh, 15 year of research. Then sartan came about 7 8 years of research. Now these all maps and all which are coming in, the monoclonal antibodies and all these drugs are coming in less than 2 years of a span. So the invention timelines are advanced, right? Because of the e connections, because of super intelligence. So therefore the enormous expectations, I mean, the expectations are very high. I mean, if you go to industry, things are required on yesterday basis, and there is very less patience. So you need to be methodical from day one, and everyone is result oriented. Another thing is, now what is coming up because of extra supply, the employer has now a choice. A choice, he wants everything as accurate, near to perfection in the first go, without failure, do more with less, all those slogans. So what is happening is that we need to be very quick, we need to be accurate. So how does this happen? I mean, can anyone be accurate from day one? Can a person who goes into industry can deliver a product so fast? The answer is no. What it leads to? It leads to the pressure. What it leads to? More uncertainty, because you're not able to expand. So it's a chaos system. It's a high pressure game. It is something which we are wired actually in a such a stressful manner that the survival is quite challenging. So, you know, uh, and what happens in particularly in research is it's not like you input, you get the output 100%. You are always struggling. In my 23 years, I have so many failures. I can tell you, like the success rate in the industry is not more than 50 to 60%, and the remaining 40% you are bound to fail. The bioequivalence studies, the stability, the scale up issues, what not. So what's the end of the day? End of the day is you are living in a very stressful environment, though you have money but you cannot enjoy. At the same time, the people who do not have money, they say, okay, how can I enjoy? But on the other side, if you have money, you cannot enjoy because you are so much stressed at end of the day because of all these delivery pressures, because of the failure, disappointment, stress. What it does, it ultimately leads to inefficiency and unproductivity. So this is the problem statement that right now we are going through a situation because of these enormous expectations, stress, the outcomes. So we are leading to a kind of a problem where I am losing my balance. So in this such a scenario, how to bring the efficiency and productivity? It is honestly not a magic wand that we will listen to something and we will become productive, we will become efficient. Answer is no. It is a consistent practice, by balanced approach, consistent practice to achieve in a very focused way. I'll talk about it, but yes, we can turn it around. It's not very tough. Now, how academics play a great role in engineering the brain of a kid who actually does all this graduation, post graduation, and then is he ready to take up that pressure? What academia can do in developing those kids, which becomes a future leader. Conventional leadership, gone are the days when I say, uh, all success is yours, failures are mine, I will take your blows and all. This is not going to work. Those days are gone. I mean, when people used to take the bullet on themselves and try to avoid people. I mean, these conventional leaderships now needs to be counterintuitive. I'll talk more about it as we move on. So we have a solution. That is what I am trying to say. We have a solution now. See what we can do together. Now this is basically a biopharmaceutics classification. I am metaphorically using. I don't want to take you right now into the science, but see, uh, the biopharmaceutical classification system, gives us lots of strength. The class one drugs, you know that high permeable, high soluble, whatever. Class 2 low permeable. So look at, if we are having class 4 drugs which are low permeable, low soluble. Now the finicky formulator, what they do so much to them. I mean, they do nanotechnology, they do melt extrusion, they do all granulations, they put all the pressures to make it soluble. Now if it is soluble, it is effective, right? So what is required at this moment, there is a great lesson to be taken from this biopharmaceutics classification system, that we ourselves needs to be more permeable, more soluble. Not the drugs, we ourselves. You know what I mean by that? That is that whenever there is a knowledge session happening, or whenever there is a science, we need to dissolve ourselves in that science to get the knowledge. Otherwise, what will happen? We all will be class 4 molecules. I mean, there will be lot of pressure. The first slide, what I told, is happening because why? because we all started behaving in a class 4 kind of a situation. We are not so, we are ambitious. I mean, everyone wants to be rich, all the luxuries of the life, but at the same time, when it comes to input, we choose to say remain low soluble. We choose to remain low permeable. I mean, we want less input, more output. So this is not going to work, honestly. And then, we are going through that hard phase. The situation is kind of a nanotechnology which works on us to make it more soluble, more permeable. I mean, we go through the situations in life to become more pressure resistant. But at the same time, if that flexibility is there in the beginning, we can engineer ourselves better. So I believe class 1 drugs are the best, where a formulator take that drug and put it in whatever dosage form he wants, and the drug is bioavailable from day one. So a lot of cost is saved, lot of time is saved. But instead of that, if you have a class 4 molecule, you have to really struggle with it, you have to really work hard with it, and you need to know what exactly different approaches you can uh, take to make it bioavailable. Uh, so, guys, I mean, this is important. We have limited time on this planet, so we need to make best use of it. Right? That's why I call that as a wisdom. So, you know, whether it is a industry or a academia institute, it is important, how we utilize our time in a best way. Uh, but we are by training, we waste a lot of time in both in industry and academia, by pursuing some unproductive things. We spend 80-85% of our time on certain unproductive things, and then repent on what we do. So this is this cycle, the vicious cycle which we are blessed with, to be honest, which we choose to bless with it. So there we need to actually do something to be counterintuitive. Take a pause is very important. Analyze, what I end of the day I am delivering wherever I am, in the academia or industry. What exactly I did today? Did I make any progress? Or it is just I discuss people, I discuss something else, and I spend 85% of my energy and I exhausted and the day ended. So we need to best make use of our time. This is very important, but this is little bit of a philosophical. Now, uh, this is the quadrant which I generally discuss with many of in my almost there in my all the presentation, because I love it. So I'm going to give you a, this is a quadrant. Okay. So now let us see. I on one side I put a effort, and on the other side I put effortless. Okay. So if we see, if we travel a distance from making effort, if I put my lot of effort, I do lot of hard work to get results, and I continue to do that at one go, at some point of a time, it becomes a effortless situation. For example, let's say, there's a tablet chapter, or there is an injectable chapter, or a lecman, whenever, or any scientific project where the expert says he comes and delivers the lecture, every year. So by making the continuous effort, there will be a stage, it becomes a effortless delivery for him to talk about tablets, to talk about dosage form, to talk about pharmacology, pharmacognosy. So, but the effortless stage requires lot of efforts. It doesn't come from day one. So we need to become the master of that activity to reach to a effortless stage. Now on the other side, if I draw like this, focused to unfocused, let's say otherwise, I mean other way, unfocused to focused. Suppose it's very simple, is a straight meaning that if I am unfocused, slowly I bring my mind, my attention towards focused approach. So now we will marry these factors and see what happens. Excuse me. So let's say, yeah, if I marry these two factors, effort, I'm putting lot of effort, and I have a focused approach with lots of efforts. What is the outcome? Concentration is the outcome. What I'm getting out of it is concentration. Okay, so great. Now let's move to the other side of it. If I'm putting lot of efforts and it doesn't go in a right direction, it leads to frustration because the result is not there. The first approach, effort focused, it gives you results. Okay, but effort unfocused, it will always give you frustration because the arrow is not going in a thoughtful direction, or in the way what the goal is. It's not touching the goal because the focus is not there. The next stage is effortless and unfocused. I mean, everyone knows, things won't mature by its own. We need to make lots of effort to get it converted into a end product. It doesn't happen by its own. Destiny doesn't weave without any efforts. So it's a gone case if we are not making efforts and we stay unfocused. Now here is the state of, this is called the masterly state. We are focused and it is moving in a effortless state. For example, what I've been taught is, if a person is riding a bicycle, okay, I mean day one he rides a bicycle, he falls many times and slowly he get trained, and there is a stage when he just leaves the hand, I mean he makes the handle free, and he can also blow a whistle, I mean he can do two three things together. So what he's doing is making it is, he has already reached to the effortless stage, and with a slight focus it can be a state. I would call this as a relaxed state. So if I just go on the left hand side, effort and focused state, it's a concentrated state. So what is the downside of it? You will get the results, but the saturation reaches very fast. The overall net effect, say after 10, 15, 20 years, the net effect, I'm not saying year one, you will definitely prove me wrong in a year one. I'm saying overall effect is very less productive, because with the effort and focus, you're putting lots of efforts, it makes you saturated, because the solubility, you can't solubilize each fraction at some stage of time. It has to stop, and then the supersaturation. So concentration leads to results, but at some stage it stops, the plateau comes very fast, and overall then the negative feedback starts, I mean it is less productive. But if you have the draining system going on in parallel, uh, the right ones are picked and the wrong ones are thrown out, and you are focusing only on those which are really required and putting slight energy on it, and you become into a state which is continuous, innovative, and you reach towards the infinity. There the chances of saturations are not there. Okay, so when your mind is relaxed, you are putting the efforts to an effortless state, success is going to come. success is for sure is waiting for you. Only thing is we become a little bit impulsive, and then the focus loses, and then all these things happen. I mean, this is not called something where anyone is perfect. I am also a student of it, but we can we can transition from this stage, stage one. There is no one in this world who has a permanent focused and effortless state. We all transition from one state to another state. Okay, but if we know that there is a right hand side quadrant exists, and then we try to do to reach to that state, we refine ourselves so that we go in that right direction. So now I tell you, in the leadership, uh, for example, I was about running about 17, 18 programs of generic drug product development. It is so complex thing. It is a so result oriented, and there is a high pressure game. Every day it is reviewed by the management, and there is so much questioning, shouting, which is a part of corporate world. I'm honest about it. I mean, they will make you work. That's important as well. But if that is happening daily, then how will you fuel your engine? How will fueling is important? Fueling anyone can do. Okay, you need something, energy come, but how will you put coolant every day that you sustain those pressures, you sustain those scientific challenges, and still get going in a successful manner? So here the counterintuitive approach is very very important. I'm sorry, there is a spell mistake. It's not counter-institutive, it is counter-intuitive. Counter-intuitive is, take a strategic pause to whatever you are doing and think about where my ship is going. Is it going in a right direction, or it's not going in a right direction? And take a strategic pause there and think about, and then try to drive from there. Don't be so much data driven. Please be data informed, and then use your senses, your understanding, that whether you are making a right decision or not. So for me, this approach was very helpful. Out of my 23 years, 20 years I worked, where I have not gone 20 times to my hometown. So industry demands such a effort, hard work, and a kind of an approach where you dedicate yourself to the organization. So in this dedication, in this hard work, you have to see you are not drained out. So that's why these strategic pauses, the conventional approaches with a little bit of counterintuitiveness, will help you to prolong your career, improve your productivity, improve the outcome, and in a successful manner. So, till now, there are any questions, if I may ask, or I shall get going? Okay, so no news is a good news. So I'll go ahead.
Sir, actually, it's our pattern of taking the questions at the end.
Okay.
And if people want to ask something, then the chat box option is enabled. Like they can ask there, because with so many participants, it gets a bit difficult to mute and unmute. That's why.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. Thank you, thank you.
So if they really have something, you can ask them to use the chat box option. That is all time open.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you want, we can take a proper 5 minute span where we'll be interacting, or else we can always do that at the end also.
Yeah, we will do at the end. I just, you know, ask, I mean, if
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir,
I'm
I
going on
understand.
a right direction or I'm not confusing anyone. So just a simple check. Anyway, thank you. Okay, so again, this is very important that we have to keep evolving. As we progress. Uh, there are so many challenges you come across. We have to make things in a manner, like for example in a research, what is more important is to sticking to your protocols. Okay. uh, when the things are not working fine for you, you have to come to the basics and see where the things are going wrong. There are projects which I have seen, like for example, I tell you now, in the generic pharmaceutical industry, we have to do lot of bioequivalence studies to say that product is comparable to the reference product, and then we have to go for the filing to the US FDA to make our product commercial in that market. Now, there are failures. I mean, there are situations when your bio studies are not passing through. I mean, it is not meeting the compliance criteria, or your product is not meeting the standards, or there are scalable issues. You are going through so many problems. Once uh, uh, you work in the industry. So one thing which needs to change, which I believe which we have forgotten, is that our reading ability. This is one of the evolution that we have to read a lot. It is not like you can do great things without reading anything. You have to be a voracious reader when you are solving any problem. uh, there are approaches people see hit and run kind of a situation. You try and you fail, and again cause and effect situation, but that is very time consuming, very time consuming. So uh, understanding of your literature, and like if there is any experience existing of that nature, which can help you around in solving those problems. So, I mean, the scientists, the researchers have to practice change continuously. This is the bottom line. You cannot sustain with your simple, fixed thoughts. You need to be flexible when it comes to a project environment, to change gears when required. Change gear means the information is the key, and the literature search is the key, and how much refined information you have in the pocket when you are resolving any complex project or a simple project. If you're I have seen, there are possibilities when project is so simple that you don't need any knowledge, it goes at by its own, that's fine. But at the same time, you will not be lucky every time that you get such projects where things go easily. There are times when you will stuck up, that is 80 out of 100 you will stuck up when you take up the industrial projects, when you want a quick delivery of the projects. Then when you stuck up, then it is important how you are trained. At that time, if you say I want to become now ferocious leader because there is a need, probably the situation will be so demanding that you want to read but you won't get time. But at that time, if you can have the capacity to read say 20 pages in 10 minutes time, or half an hour time, so then you are get going. I mean, this, we need to inculcate this habit of reading literature, reading articles, reading publication, relating. You have to do it in not more than 30. I mean, you will be given time. I'm just giving you the worst case scenario. when you are having a problem, and if you have a voracious reader and you have a great reading capacity, you can scroll things, you can scout things in a very minimum time and be productive in the needy hours. So what your boss wants at that time? A solution to the problem. Okay. And how the solution will come? If I keep on experimenting in the laboratory and give him every day the bad news, कि साहब ये हो नहीं रहा, so then it's an ordinary approach. Honestly, it is an ordinary approach. So we have to apply our mind, knowledge, and the application of what we have gained in our academics to really you know apply in the tough and needy hours and throw it on the table. Look, this is what we how we can resolve the issue. So if you one of the way which I feel mm, of resolving anything is actually you are up to the speed of the available information data. You're data informed, not data driven, data informed. You have the data in your pocket. Mm, Another thing, as I said, I mean, unless now again I come to that same principle, unless and until we dissolve in that situation, we cannot be become a great problem solver. I have actually multiple team members, across years. I've seen, I have few cases, people say, sir, my heartbeat goes up when I start reading. So that means what? That means he's a class 4 molecule, very low permeable. He has not practiced. It is not justified, or it is injustice to say him that he is not an intelligent person. No, that's wrong, because he has not applied himself. So whenever he reads something, it becomes an anathema to him, and then he says, I can't do it, and that negative feeling goes in and the heartbeat goes up. So what's so big about it? So these sort of practices, I believe, are very, very important, and that's why West is ahead of us in as compared to East, because their industry academia goes in hand, and we are a separate railway tracks. So uh, one more thing which is very important in the industrial environment, that you need to have a lot of courage. Courage requires when you are handling a pressure situation. You have a product which needs to be delivered, let's say, in 6 months of time, and it is going through all the rigmarole of failures and all. You need to come back and try to resolve it. So, but at the same time, you should have the heart of lion. It's not, built in a day that today I start behaving like a lion. So some degree of purity in us, the honesty, and try to refine our approach makes things works better for us. I mean, we can do great things to our body. We can do weightlifting, gym every day, treadmill, whatnot, to keep our metabolism right and see stay healthy. That's good, required. But how to make our mind healthy, that's also very important. So if our body is healthy, mind is not healthy, the end product is a diseased pathology only, which may not be visible outside, but it will internally be blockage. So to apply our mind in a healthy way, we have to keep it in a relaxed state. To keep it in a relaxed state, we have to practice the tools. To once the tools you can take it out, it is very easy actually to implement it. So I hope I conveyed. See, so these are our enemies, honestly, which I put it on the left side. I saw a project goes into a failure mode because of all these 5 7 elements which are there in all of us. It's incorrect to say that I am free of all these things. We all have all these varieties, attributes, as we say in QBD, to give us the very poor critical quality attributes. It is, what is stress? Stress is because of our this inbuilt fear in us, inbuilt guilt in us, inbuilt laziness, and then we want such a ambitious lifestyle. And when we try to marry these two things, what happens? It ends up in giving us stress. So, so we need to actually correct it. Otherwise, we are stuck in a web, like and we would like to see ourselves out, but we are not out. So so this is where I just provide you a tool which actually helped me, kind of process, uh, where you have to create yourself a better human being with some good material attributes. If I, let's say, we are a molecule, then on the right side we have to, it's not 100% this or 100% that, it is always the pk, the ionization versus ionization, the balance. But let's be on the unionized side of it, because it is more dissolved, more absorbed, and it's bioavailable form. So I always consider the right side is the ionized, unionized side, and this is ionized, because once it is built, then you cannot actually, these are the qualities which are pharmacologically active. And on the left side, these are the qualities which are ionizable, and it is not giving you a desired pharmacological action. If at all it gives you an action, it is superficial, it is very short, and you are going to fall. So if you want to get a very good net effect, so we have to build these qualities on the right side. So but it's not, sometimes I learned, I mean, simple things, but it is not easy, and the easier things which are not simple, so it happens. But a continuous practice of all these attributes with some tool in hand puts you in a state of effortless and focused. See, this is the value you will, this is the outcome, that is the response if if you deal with these variables. So definitely, the day will come when you become a master of your own, and your decision making. See, the best thing is taking decisions. The leader is the one who takes decisions, right? So how the decision making comes? If you have purity in the mind. I mean, if you are not courageous, if you are always fearful, you will go into kind of, okay, my boss will tell, I will do, and let me inform him, and let me take him confidence, all those things which always happens. But at the same time, you look at a situation, if you go to your boss, he's a principal, he's a HOD, or he's a corporate leader, you go to him and with lots of data, boss, how, this is how we can do it. I am confident, this is the reason why I'm confident, and I'm sure this is going to happen. you know and otherwise, no, boss, you tell me what to do, I am with you, tell me how to do. See, if Steve Jobs says, like, if I hire a employee and if I tell them what to do, then I don't need him, honestly. We hired people to let tell them what to be done, not the vice versa. Then hiring a professional doesn't mean anything. How he will be productive if I have to guide my people every time, what they need to do? So the training has to be imparted in such a way that he becomes a driver, and then from a driver to a self driven engine he could able to design. So that is the target. So this is a small code. So how this can happen is we need to actually help people to feel the change, help people to feel what is needed, rather than, thinking and feeling doesn't go together on one plane. Either we think, or we feel, but we cannot do together both the things. The science of feeling is such that it gives you a lot of courage. The science of thinking gives you lot of activities which are brain linked, and you get all these jealousies, fears, and all those things. When you come to a state of feeling, your heart comes into picture, and heart is the one which gives you a true feeling, okay, not the brain. So that's why I come to a slide which I love the most, and it has changed my life as a leader, as a scientist, as a problem solver. And I can with confidence say that, this is the one which is going to bring the change in the future. Why? Because, this is all in one. I'm not honestly advertising something. It's not like you need to do follow what I say. What I am trying to tell you is that please have a approach in life which relaxes you. Okay, it does not challenge you every day. If you are stressful, it relaxes you. Be it a listening to music, but it should touch to the zero. You go to the baseline, you touch the baseline. So you should have the tools to be productive. If you say I keep on productive but without tools, without going to the touching the baseline, then it is all short sightedness. You will really come to a situation, as I said, the focused and the effort stage. You will be very soon coming to a stage where the saturation takes place. Anyway, uh, see, huh, yeah, this is my favorite slide. I mean, now I have talked to you about the problems. I have talked what could be the approach. Now, out of these problems, how we together can enhance the productivity. You know, see, now let's talk a little bit on the west side. West is the, space where there is a lot of industry academia interactions. There is a lot of learning from each other. People actually keep their institute organizations at par, so that, the industry and academia deliver together. If you just see the bottom right, honestly, in India, it is a parallel track. The corporate is going on one direction and industry is going on, sorry, the academia goes on another direction. There are, I'm not saying it's 100, it's zero, but if anything less than 90, I consider it is not significant, to be honest. So, see, then what is the outcome? Outcome is we are overall in net effect, we are less productive as compared to the other countries, other like in Europe or in US or in Japan. If you say, the things are driven from the academia and they are commercialized, they are given a shape in the industry. So both the things work hand to hand and hand in hand, sorry, to deliver the required goals. Now, see, in uh, the academic institutes, they have time, in the sense it's not like free time, but they have the time where they can actually consolidate the concepts, generate the concepts, consolidate the concepts, and get money from the industry, invest in the right direction, go back to them and create a kind of a loop, where uh, there is a lot of kind of a collaboration. Uh, this is, if you see, like a Western professor, if he says something in US or any other country, it has a meaning. It has a meaning, and the FDA listen to it. So if you see what is the constitution of FDA, all the known academicians, they are on their board. So there is such a huge collaboration that uh, they can't go wrong, because you have a blend of commercial people and the knowledge bank, which is academicians together coming to resolve any problem. But honestly, this is missing in our country. uh, I am trying to, like
Excuse me,
me,
sir.
there are many mindset. I mean, there are many people who think in the same
Sir,
direction.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sir, if you could see, we have a doubt from a participant in the chat box. They
okay,
want you to explain the second point in detail. Works in non-project environment, works in project environment.
okay. So here, actually, what I see with the project environment and a non-project environment, but see, uh, okay, this is important. So it should not be taken in a wrong way, please. What I mean here is that industry is a time bound project environment. Like project environment is what? There is a start, there is a end, there is a delivery, there is a action. Okay. And non-project environment is kind of, you are working on a project, but it may or may not have its end. The Like you are working more on the concepts. Okay, you are trying to shape the project. Institutes are shaping the project, not doing the projects. In the sense, they are, that way every project, everything is a project. Like you making a microsphere, that is a project. But my way of defining the project is, it should touch the shelf. I mean, it should be available to the patients, okay, in a given span of time. So that is work, is a little bit of a project environment. Whereas here you guys are making great efforts in conceptualizing a project. You are giving birth to a scientific knowledge which is used in the project. This is my point. So shall I see there are more in the chat box? Shall I
No,
go
sir.
ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This was the one, only one that I thought I'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah. So please don't consider this line as I want to say that institute doesn't work in a project environment. Everything is, this line is kind of, you do not have those timelines. You do not have an urgency to reach. You have urgency, but you have no compulsion to reach to the shelf to make the drugs available to the patients. Okay, but your concepts are used. The concepts generated on the benches are used to deliver the projects successfully. So we need to come together to bring this diversity and inclusion. This is one of the dream project which I am pursuing. uh, I did it actually at Vyom. Vyom has given me a lot of liberty to work. So what I did, I have now, let's say, 50 people. So out of 50, I intentionally put some 10, 12 people who are the from the very renowned institutes, from the IIT, from US also. I brought some Georgia University, Boston, and all. I brought some 10 people purely from the academia. Okay. So it has, it's almost my third year now, so it has given me a great effect. I mean, outcome was great. What was the outcome? Industry people has a observation. They don't have a hypothesis. They have a more of a cause and effect. Tablet ban gaya, tablet nahi bana. I mean, there is a problem, dissolution, no dissolution, less dissolution. But when I put these academicians into the industry, I suffered a lot. I mean, by doing this, it's not a easy proposition by any means. It's lots of, it puts lots of challenges. You know, these two communities, they don't gel together. This is the biggest problem for a leader. So I was heavily criticized by everyone. But now people say, okay, yeah, you know, you have written to FDA, they didn't come back. You have written science, they appreciated. So what academia people did when they blended with industry, they took their observation, gone back to the theory, and came back with the scientific rationales, scientific answers. Those shaped up their justification, shaped up their observation to be more scientific. So industry has always the cause and effect. बैच बन गया, बैच खराब हो गया, बैच नहीं आया, बायो फेल हो गया, क्या करना है, that's it. You know, that's how it goes. All my 2023 years I've listened. I'm very, you know, habitual to these parlance. But when someone says, why did it happen? Uh, then, you know, ifs and buts and all. But if you have a blend of scientists along purely from the academic side of it, you know, they will push the information to you. Look, this is why it is happening. Now, another benefit of it is the academia people also learn how to actually make the project viable, how to actually make it work, how to scale it up, what exactly is needed to bring the product into the shelf, on the shelves, right? So that they have learned. So the perfect balance, I mean, it was 80-20 or 70-30 ratio, which has given me enormous benefits. So wherever I will go in future, so my theory is that I will definitely try to build a blend of these two people, two two communities. Although it's a one community only, but you know that the diversity of inclusion and inclusion, I call it as this principle under one roof. You know, where you have a great presence. And now another thing which I would want to share with you, industry people, they cannot write a good paragraphs. Their writing skills are very bad because they are all wired to take actions. They are action oriented. That is there in their DNA. Whereas if you bring a good student from a nice universities who has written so many publications, his writing skills are so great. And when he writes those paragraphs, and those scientific rationales or justifications are submitted to the agencies, they really appreciate it. I have seen myself, I mean, as I said, you know, in the beginning, someone introduced many FDA inspections I have gone through. Majority of the time, you never, the barrier between the two countries is the language. You know, English is a funny language. They, what they say, what we perceive, there's a sometime a difference. Till now also, in this era also, I saw that what exactly their culture is different from us, and what they speak we do not understand in the way they want us to answer. So that creates a gap. But if you have a nice blended people across geographies, you can create a very good team. And this is the concept which I wanted to share with you to improve productivity, improve our approach as a scientist, and to deliver whatever the unmet needs as on date to the patients. So this, the text in blue, I have already spoken, so nothing. Yeah, so with this, I just wanted to come to uh, a conclusion of my presentation. This is what I wanted to say, that our country needs a quality research. So, as pharmaceutical scientists, we can offer each other a nice uh, association for exchanging the scientific information in such a way that is productive, where the concepts are generated at the institutes who are rightly funded, and from there a seriousness comes out which can be further processed to commercialize. So we should have a common purpose. Okay, this is what we wanted to say. We wanted to evaluate the polymorphism in this product, and we wanted to make certain polymorphs of this molecule effective. So can I do it? Industry has no time. Academia has time. Do it. Is it working? Yes, it is working. Go back. Need more fund? Take the fund and bring into a shape which can go back to industry, where you convert into a dosage form and do some studies whether it works. It may fail. That's fine. It's okay. So if you do some 100 projects like that, I am dead sure that 5 out of that will click, and it will create lot of value addition. Another thing which I spoke to my boss, academic boss, Dr. Bhoop, Pinder Singh Bhoop, and Dr. Chopra and Dr. Arvind Bansal also in Nagpur. You know, it is very important that students should report the negative results in their thesis. It's very hard. I mean, I have also done, and from I know how things are done. I am a part of it. But now, if a student comes for an interview, he says, "I made microspheres." How can I believe him that he has made microspheres or he made liposomes? Which we have such a sophisticated infrastructure, and then also it's very difficult to make. We couldn't come out with so many products till now which are on the shelves by the name of microspheres, liposomes, transfrosomes, whatever the novel technologies. So how can a project within a span of 6 months can generate a science which is, he has made the microsphere, he has done the dissolution, and everything is hunky dory? How it is possible? See, he is, please understand one thing, in that 6 month or 1.5 year, he is getting a training of research. Okay. He is not bound to make a product out of that. It is not possible, practically impossible. He learned the, does he have the sufficient literature to make liposomes? Tick mark, yes. Does he know theoretically how to make microsphere? Yes. Now, if we say, I cannot prove the thesis till the time you show me your microsphere, then it is bound to we take a wrong track. So in a thesis, I always ask questions, when we go for the campus interviews or sometimes there are vacancies. Please tell me, in your 6 months of experimentation, what has not worked for you? Can you can you can you share with me your frustration? Say it, sir, I didn't get the drug. I'm happy to hear. Sir, I didn't get the polymer. I'm happy to hear. Sir, what to do? I have to write something. I'm happy to hear. But, my dear, what you have done, you know how to hold the qubit? Do you know how to make standard plots? How many times you have made standard plots? So that sort of a training, if if I wish, I have spoken, I have taken the names, not sake of name dropping, but I'm requesting them, chairman of Punjab University, chairman of Naipur, we should inculcate a habit, a section in the students thesis. These are the things which I worked on but couldn't give me results. So, the next student who takes up that work, if he says, okay, these things I do not know, I do not want to do because it doesn't work. That is also a part of innovation, great research. He saves time there. Somehow we are carried away with the fact that I need to make a matrix tablet out of my 6 months thesis, and it should give me a sustained release product, and I should have the graphs, and I should conclude that it's a zero order release. आज तक मुझे zero order release नहीं आया, but जितना thesis मैंने देखा उसमें सारा zero order होता है. So that means where are my request is that we should pursue a approach which is practical, which is which we should able to demonstrate when we are get a chance, and we should honestly express ourselves like this is what I did, I am very sure about it, and this I do not. So blend of industry academia, we have actually spoken at length. Collaboration is of course a key. Uh, so bringing product to the shelves, on the shelves, is a really a team effort. It is not one person job. A person pursuing pharmaceutics, he says, I am a formulator, I can make a product. That is his vicious thinking, highly ambitious thinking. It is altogether the lab attendant of that laboratory is also very important, and the person who is mopping the floor is also important. That humanity has to be there in a team. The person who is serving the tea is also important. I give you a great example, Bajaj Chetak. Who has coined that name? It is a person who was serving the tea in that conference room when they were designing what should be the name of the scooter. Bajaj is fine. He says, "Saab Chetak rakho," because he was from that kind of belt. I mean this Rajasthan belt, and the Chetak is very famous name. So how, look at the contribution. So he made a brand. I mean, he contributed. So I have actually explained you some of the tools to do it. Tools, when I say, it is you need to be highly focused in a effortless way. And how to do that? You please invent yourself. I believe heartfulness is one of the approach which will help you to actually go far in that approach, and gives you a relaxed state of mind. I mean, we have in collaboration with IIT and Max Saket uh, Hospital, we did a research, where these sort of practices, they help you to reduce the blood pressure, reduce the heart rate significantly, and all these parameters are very important when you are taking decisions. If you are frustrated and you are in a hurry and you are worried, you cannot take a better decision. This is what we have actually discussed at length. And see, the last thing which I learned in Dr. Reddy's when I was project manager, so we were going through a gold rat training. So what they say is, if you want to approach any project in the fastest way, so what is the mantra? He says, do it very slowly. The first fastest way of doing the thing is to do it slowly. Why? Someone says, "यार अभी slowly करेंगे तो how we will do it?" See, when you do slowly, you bring accuracy, you bring precision into your approach, you avoid repetitions, you attain consistency, and the net effect. Again, whatever I delivered today, I am talking about the net effect. I am not talking about the cause. Sir, मैं आज भागा नहीं तो मैं गोल पोस्ट कैसे पहुंचूंगा? But okay, you are running slowly, you are having a consistent approach. You overall, if you are running daily, you will achieve your targets. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening to me. And I was given how much? 90 minutes. So it is 11:30, 12:30, 1. So, ma'am, 75 minutes. Thank you very much. So let's spare some 15 minutes for the questions.
I understand, sir, your calculation of time. Actually, most of us here are teachers, so we have a habit of this. Um, so I'll open the forum for anybody who wants to ask anything to sir or directly interact. May please raise hand or post their question in the chat box. We will be unmuting you one by one if you want to directly interact with sir.
Looks I was very efficient, so there are no questions.
Um, Sir, so I'll hand over the mic to Trivedi ma'am to conclude further. Over to you, Trivedi ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I have a question that since how long are you practicing heartfulness? Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. So
Yeah, sir,
can
I
you?
was asking that since how long are you practicing heartfulness?
Okay, so it's my almost close to 2 decades. This is 20th year. So, but actually, see, uh, I, it is so impressive. So in Vyom also, I run a 90-day program actually, just to help people around, and we made some heartfulness corner in the laboratory, also in the conference room. So anyone, during the day, if he feels like he's carried away with these emotions, wanted to touch the ground state and be balanced, so we created those kind of culture in the organization, so that if let's say I am angry on the day one, I mean 10 o'clock, I am full of anger, and it's gone, I mean my whole day is damaged. But if
Yes.
I do something for 5-10 minutes and I am back to my original self, where I can think about and I can save a lot of time. So it helped many of our senior colleagues, junior colleagues in coping up the pressure. So it's a helpful one. I mean, that's what I want to say.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to inform you that we have also started this for our students, Heartfulness
Okay.
Initiative, since last year under the guidance of Katare, sir.
Okay.
So even I would like to see my students to have a bright future. Sir, thank you so much. Today you have,
We have two questions. If you can see.
actually, yeah, she's saying that we have some questions. So let us see the question, then I'll come back.
Sir, there is a question from Dr. Gauri Dikshit. Uh, she's asking that the teachers are involved in administrative work, so productivity gets divided. Not of a question, more of a comment. So if you would give some quick suggestion on this.
See, honestly, the administrative work is a part of the part of research, to be honest. So it cannot go away because this is the style. I mean, nowadays, uh, you know, the teachers are involved in the administrative work. Uh, but actually, that is what I am trying to convey. The world is moving in a direction which we do not want. One is we react to it and try to, create stress within us, or we cope up with that. So, my suggestion over here is, create a balance where administration is also equally important. And let's say your boss wants to do that, I mean, how he will do? I mean, otherwise there is no way. But you need to spare time for yourself so that effectively you balance the things. That's more important than saying, no administrative work and more of a research work. you know I'll give you one example. In my Sun Pharma, 3 years back, I was doing most of the research, and 10% of my action was that I need to guide a small GMP laboratory, which is more of a process oriented. So you can take it like it is administrative work, but it helped me to improve my productivity, because research is not always so hunky dory. I mean, you all positive results and you are enjoying life. This is all, you are on the shelves, I mean. So it helps me when I was doing that administrative work. So it just, like, you are end of the day, you are doing college and then you go to kitchen, making food and all. It gives you some sort of a relaxation. So that way, I believe blending these two things and try to create a balance out of it is more productive than saying, I will only do research or I will only do administrative.
Okay. Thank you, sir.